Hi everyone, this will be a short video tutorial on just an introduction to Newman conformations. The term conformation refers to the spatial arrangement of atoms or groups in a structure about a carbon-carbon bond if we are talking about Newman projections, okay? These conformations can interconvert because of that rotation about the front and the back carbon of a Newman projection. There are two types of Newman projections. We have staggered conformations and we have eclipsed conformations. When you look down here, we have our staggered and our eclipsed conformations. Your staggered conformations are these two right here. You will see kind of gaps in between your groups, okay? And we would say that these two methyl groups have a 60-degree dihedral angle. The angle between those groups on adjacent carbons, if we looked at their two bonds, is 60 degrees, okay? Whereas notice how the methyl groups, the angle between those two bonds would be 180 degrees. When two groups are 180 degrees apart, we refer to them as having an anti-relationship. In this Newman projection, the two hydrogens here are anti, and the two hydrogens here are anti. Okay? When you look at eclipsed conformations, the groups on the front and the back carbons will be perfectly eclipsing with one another. These are high energy conformations. Eclipsed conformations will be higher in energy than your staggered conformations, okay? And we'll talk about this in the next couple videos, but why eclipsed conformations are higher in energy is they have more van der Waals repulsions. This is the repulsion of groups directly trying to occupy the same space where their electron clouds are physically repulsing each other because of that close proximity and their nuclei getting too close. And also this torsional strain. We'll dive into what torsional strain is in the next video. Okay, but the idea here is that these groups, their bonds are perfectly eclipsing. Now we draw them very close together, but the idea is they're actually perfectly eclipsing. If you were to look at, say, a Newman without those groups drawn in, they are perfectly eclipsing, just like the sun can be eclipsed, okay? So we have different types of eclipsion. You could have methyl hydrogen eclipsion, or you could have methyl-methyl eclipsion. And the idea is in these conformations, we have different energy. That's why we're looking at Newman projections and considering the rotation. If we just looked at the two staggered conformations, the two methyl groups here are closer together and they have a gauche interaction. When you have two groups that are non-hydrogen groups that have this 60-degree dihedral angle, we call that a gauche steric interaction. Notice how in this structure, the methyl groups are not gauching with each other. They are not directly sterically clashing with one another, okay? And as a result, we would say that this conformation here is lower in energy than this other staggered conformation. If we were to compare the two eclipsed conformations, having larger groups eclipsing, like two methyl groups eclipsing, would be higher energy, more destabilizing, than just having a methyl and a hydrogen eclipsing, okay? So we will talk about that in a little bit more detail in later videos, how we can think about the relative energies of conformations. This video is just for you to be able to identify staggered versus eclipsed conformations and getting you to think about steric interactions and visualizing gauche, anti, and eclipsed relationships.